49ers Rams. I was on the Rams side of this. This is why I took them plus the 6.5. This is a desperate spot. I get no Nate. There's no Note Boom, no Puka Nacua, no Cooper Kupp. This is a Rams team that is absolutely ravaged with injuries. I took the Niners to win. That was my Bryson's Bleak bet game on Friday. But divisional game, I get Kyle Shanahan's own Sean McVay, but I did feel like they have the quarterback advantage with Matt Stafford, with those weapons, all of those guys. And I did feel like they would at least make it competitive. Turns out they win the darn thing because of a special teams error by the San Francisco 49ers. To me, that is, there's two stories for this game for the Niners. One is bad in the short term, and one is, I think, really, really encouraging if it keeps up in the long run. The bad news is in the short term is, again, my man Jeff is in the comments just saying, Hargrave done for the year with the tricep injury. Brock Purdy, day-to-day with back soreness. Christian McCaffrey is going to go see a specialist about his Achilles tendonitis in Germany. Okay, Deebo Samuel's dealing with injuries. Like, there's injuries on both sides of the ball, and this is the number one reason why not only did I not pick the Niners to not win the NFC, but not to win the NFC West. They're certainly good enough to be a playoff team, and I very much still think they will be, is that I just didn't trust this team to stay healthy over the course of a full season. Like you saw, yes, there were injuries last year in spurts, and I'll touch on that in just a second with my next take. But by and large, San Francisco mostly stayed healthy throughout last year. Yes, they lost Hufanga. Yes, they lost Dre Greenlaw in the Super Bowl on a freak, just running on the field, blows his Achilles. Other than that, I think it's about as healthy as you could have hoped for a team going to the Super Bowl, which the Niners did last year. That's why I didn't necessarily trust them to continue to repeat that, because they have guys with an injury history. That's the bad news in the short term. You lost a game that, frankly, they probably shouldn't have lost. And for the Rams, they're still alive to win that NFC West. I think Seattle, early, good start to the regular season, but I predicted that. Most people predicted that going into the season. Seattle will, to a certain level, come back to earth, at least offensively. Here's the good news if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, because I said this going back to last week. So, going into last year's playoffs, Brock Purdy had two big things that he needed to prove to me. Number one, can you win coming from behind? Well, he may have dug them the hole against the Green Bay Packers in the playoff game. That's for certain. He was awful through 3.5 quarters. But when it counted, he let him down, and Christian McCaffrey ran it in for the win, and Purdy was great on that drive. And then he gets the Detroit Lions. Yes, sure, you need down 17 at the half at home. Sure, you need some crazy bounces from Brian Branch to Brandon Ayuk to turn the tide of that game. But Brock Purdy, with his arm and his legs, was great in the second half and in the fourth quarter of that game against Detroit. So by and large, Purdy pretty much proved that to me. Oh, he can come from behind. He can do that. He also need to prove to me this, because we had very little evidence to say that when everything in terms of the roster, or not roster construction, but that and the roster being healthy, the all-star level players, the McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk and Kittle. By the way, Kittle was out yesterday, obviously. And Trent Williams and Juwan Jennings, all of those guys, when they're in there, yeah, of course you're going to look great with Kyle Shanahan. But when the adversity hits, when a guy sprains an ankle, when a guy has, Achilles tendonitis, when Deebo Samuel's out, and you're dealing with all these injuries across the board, then what are you going to do? And that was my concern. My thing was, and I've said from the jump, I have, going back, even Brock Purdy's rookie year, when he came in to replace Jimmy Garoppolo, I said from the jump, oh, this guy's better than Jimmy G. Oh, he moves better. He's got a better arm. Kyle Shanahan with his play calling, trust him more than Jimmy G. Like, Jimmy G had some, go back and look at his playoff numbers. The Niners, this is why the Jimmy G defenders drove me crazy. The Niners were not winning playoff games because of Jimmy Garoppolo. They were winning in spite of him. He was dreadful in most of those games. Brock Purdy was not. So I didn't have any doubts about that. I've always said, on the Brock Purdy spectrum of the people that love him and think he's amazing and the people that think he is strictly a product of Kyle Shanahan, I tended to be like right smack dab in the middle. Like, I thought it was kind of a mixture of the two. I think Purdy is smarter than Jimmy G, makes better decisions, all of that. Can you win when just crap just isn't going your way? And not only is crap not going his way, but virtually the entire offense was down. Kittle, Debo, McCaffrey, all of these guys, injuries across the board. And Brock Purdy was simply phenomenal yesterday. We can show you his numbers. Go and put them up on the screen now. 333 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, completed 73% of his passes, 137 passer rating, and a QBR 0 to 100 of 86. If you want to rank the reasons that the San Francisco 49ers lost yesterday, Brock Purdy is literally dead last on the list. He was accurate. He was mobile. I thought he did a really good job, and I think Shanahan may have pointed this out after the game. Playing off script, out of structure, I thought he was fantastic. Now, Juwan Jennings, go Vols, by the way, was unbelievable. Had the game of his life. Juwan Jennings yesterday, 11 catches, $175. Not one, not two, but three. Count that three, folks. Touchdowns for Jennings. He was insane yesterday. But as was Purdy. Now, do I think that this is necessarily, I should say, not going to continue? Is this going to be the norm? Well, I don't think Purdy is going to have 137 passer ratings every game. But when he led the league in passer rating a year ago, and people are like, oh, why wouldn't you believe in him? I'm like, we've seen good quarterbacks lead the league in passer rating with the right structure around him. Can you do it when crap hits the fan? Seen Dak do it. Literally saw Dak do it yesterday. Seen Lamar Jackson do it. Seen Mahomes do it on countless occasions. Joe Burrow almost did it at Kansas City last week. Can Purdy do it? Well, he did yesterday. Now he's playing a well-coached New England defense next week, potentially missing more weapons and more guys on the defensive end with Hargrave. The Arizona Cardinals have a solid defense. Again, Seattle Seahawks have an unbelievable defense on a short week in Seattle. I said this 3 to 4 game stretch for Purdy was really career-defining. Somewhat career-defining in the sense that contract year, high expectations. Can you elevate despite things around you not necessarily going your way? And he did. He did in every which way yesterday. He threw off platform. I thought his arm strength was very impressive. Again, now, there was one throw. He threw a bomb to Juwan Jennings in the second half where Jennings just made up and made an insane play. Like, there's still a couple of reckless plays, certainly, but those, I'm okay with a couple of those a game. I'm fine with that. If you feel confident in the guy, Juwan Jennings, to be able to make a play, go for it. Sure, trust me, I know as a Tennessee fan, you throw a ball to Juwan Jennings against the Georgia Bulldogs, October 1st, 2016, he'll come down with it. Like, he's a great jump ball guy and a very physical receiver. If you feel confident, make that happen. Just don't do anything just stupid, right? Don't make a throw that has absolutely no business being thrown. Decision-making was great. He was slinging the football. He saw the field really well. And again, he was doing it. By the way, again, I talk about, but he's got all these guys. I think Jennings is fantastic. Ayuk has still not got it going. Again, the drop passes, he's not on the same page with Purdy. A lot of this is the holdouts. After that, I mean, Ronnie Bell, who dropped a disastrous ball on that, I think it was the third down late in the game, which really cost San Francisco. I mean, Jordan Mason, he's been a cool story, but he's certainly no Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it's a lot of guys. Again, similar to the Rams yesterday with Stafford, who I love. Guys we've mostly never heard of outside of Jennings and Ayuk. And he looked fantastic. If you just show me his numbers and said, hey, and I have no knowledge of injuries, Brock Purdy did this, it's like, oh, I've seen him do that before. Not with this talent. Now he has people like, well, he has Kyle Shanahan. I'm not going to punish the kid for having a great coach. That's never been my, okay, he's only reliant on Kyle Shanahan. He has Kyle Shanahan and like the best cast of weapons in the league. Like, that's, no quarterback gets that. That's almost unrealistic. And the reason I say it's important is because they're not going to be able to keep all these guys. They're not. Deebo Samuel, I will almost guarantee, will not be a 49er in 2025. Christian McCaffrey is dealing with injuries. George Kittle, all of this. Trent Williams getting older. This is big for me. If I'm John Lynch, I can pay him. He can win with it when we don't have every single person healthy. Because we can draft guys. We can bring dudes in. We'll see. God bless Ricky Pearsall. We'll see once that kid gets healthy, if he's able to get healthy this season. We can draft guys. We can be able to bring some dudes in to help this kid as much as we can and bring in new all-star level talent. But can he win or at least play well? It's not just about the winning. Can he play well under adverse circumstances? And he did. I've been waiting to see this, and I saw it. If he continues this or something similar to this against a good Patriots defense, against a solid Cardinals defense, and against an unbelievable Seahawks defense, something similar to this consistently, I'm in. I'm in on the Brock Purdy thing. Okay? Now, if he's like awful for the next 3 games, I'm like, I won't like say he's terrible or anything. But I'll kind of come back to, okay, this goes, again, regression to the mean to a certain degree, right? Like, this is what he tends to be in this situation. But if that continues, what we saw yesterday, Forget about it. That's their guy. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.